Welcome everyone to This Explainer. Listen, today we're going to completely shatter some of those deeply held preconceived notions you might have about what real wealth building actually looks like. You can go ahead and forget the flashy cars, the luxury watches, and all those loud social media flexes you're so used to seeing on your feed. We're diving into something much more substantial, much more grounded, and honestly, incredibly effective. We're looking at the absolute power of the unassuming.
Let's dive into this. Have you ever actually stopped to wonder who becomes wealthy with anyone even noticing? It's kind of a fascinating question, right? Because we're constantly conditioned by modern culture to associate money with noise, tension, visibility. But our source material today points to a completely different reality, a kind of hidden economy where the real magic happens totally behind the scenes. It's the really compelling mystery of quiet wealth.
Take a look at this quote right from our source. It's quiet, and the people who understand this often become wealthy without anyone noticing. Just let that sink in for a second. True wealth, the kind that actually lasts, creates real stability, and builds a legacy, is often entirely quiet. It is a stark, almost jarring contrast to the loud, flashy flex culture we're bombarded with every single day. The individuals who truly understand this core principle, they're the ones quietly building massive empires right under our noses, while everyone else is just distracted by the noise. Let's move to this next part and see how this builds. Section 1, Motivation versus a Money Mindset, Moving Beyond the Hype.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what our source is getting at. To really understand this quiet wealth, we have to look at the fundamental difference between merely having motivation and actually possessing a genuine money mindset. On one side, we have motivation. And look, it's great to get you out of bed, sure, but it's fleeting. It fades. Our source explicitly warns against relying purely on that temporary burst of energy. Instead, we really need to push toward a real money mindset. This is about structural thinking, long-term planning, and understanding the actual nuts and bolts of how wealth is generated and sustained, long after the initial excitement of a new project inevitably fades away.
Which brings us to our next point, Section 2. 6 powerful, boring businesses, the vehicles for quiet wealth.
So the crucial point is, having a real money mindset isn't quite enough on its own, right? It requires a practical vehicle to actually get you to your destination. And according to our source material, the ultimate vehicles for generating this quiet wealth are what they perfectly describe as boring businesses. There are exactly 6 of these powerful paths highlighted that essentially act as your roadmap. First up, laundromats. They offer super steady cash flow with minimal daily oversight and recurring local demand. Second, car washes. They have these highly predictable margins and automation potential that keeps overhead exceptionally low. Third, vending machines. Literally micro real estate at its finest, quietly collecting passive income in high traffic areas. Fourth, property management. It's a highly scalable service business that actually thrives in any real estate market simply because owners always need operators. Fifth, storage units. They provide incredible revenue per square foot with extremely low maintenance compared to residential properties. And finally, number 6, commercial cleaning. It's built entirely on long-term recurring B2B contracts that pretty much guarantee monthly cash flow. These 6 paths cut right through the noise, offering highly effective ways to build stealthy, substantial wealth.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these businesses share some incredibly specific traits that basically defy our usual expectations of success. First of all, they are inherently quiet and go almost entirely unnoticed by the general public. Yet beneath the surface, they are incredibly powerful cash-flowing machines. They aren't running on hype, they are driven entirely by that real money mindset we discussed just a minute ago. And most importantly for your long-term success, they are built to last because they are absolutely not reliant on temporary motivation. They just work, methodically, day in and day out.
All right, let's wrap this up. Section 3, Building Your Real Wealth, Taking Action. So, what does this all mean for you? Where does that actually leave you? Understanding this whole phenomenon of quiet, boring wealth is really just the theoretical first step. The real shift happens when you start actually taking action toward your own financial independence. It's about applying this grounded perspective to your own life and realizing that the most reliable, sustainable path to success, well, it might just be the one nobody else is paying any attention to. As we conclude this explainer, I want to pose the exact provocative question our source asks directly to you. Which of these 6 boring businesses do you think is the most powerful? I want you to really think about it. Leave a comment below with your answer. And hey, if you found this explainer valuable and want to keep learning, make sure to subscribe and follow along for more. Because here, you don't just get fleeting motivation. You get the practical tools and insights to build a real money mindset. Thanks for diving into this with me, and keep building quietly.